Hi, Greg Weldon here with WeldonLIVE for Tuesday, July 12th, and today we are going to talk about Blut and Eisen, and what that means is blood and iron, and it comes from the infamous speech from Otto von Bismarck back in the late 19th century. Not through speeches and majority decisions will the great questions of the day be decided, but by blood and iron. And that really seems appropriate here when you're talking about Russia, when you're talking about Putin, when you're talking about the Nord Pipeline, when you're talking about an economic war that was really kind of started by the U.S., if you want to say it that way. I mean, seizing assets, even seizing assets from the Russian central bank, and seizing wealth and the whole nine yards around sanctions and trying to cripple Russian industry. Well, Russia can certainly fire back, and this whole thing can be escalated here if Russia were to keep this pipeline closed. There is a kind of a little gamesmanship going on in terms of already laying the groundwork for the reason why it wouldn't be turned back on. We'll talk about that in a minute. It's really interesting, all right? But the bottom line is this whole green movement just kind of comes crashing down around you when you really realize this is all about, an engine of global growth and GDP and not changing the planet and how quickly they're willing to go back to coal. It's like, okay, we got to revamp, coal production locally. But then you also have, a dynamic where Germany relying for, 60% of their energy needs on Russian, exports. And from that perspective, really leaving themselves in this position where they are hostage to whatever degree. And you throw onto that a major drought and a severe heat wave that is impacting all of Europe, particularly the south, moving east and north as we speak. You talk about Germany and the rivers at low levels, and barges would not be able to carry a full load anyway. Even assuming you could secure supply, you may not be able to ship it to where you need it. And this is when you're talking about, storage levels being 50, 60% across most of Europe, particularly in France, Italy, and Germany, three of the four largest countries, and most populated countries and biggest economic countries. I mean, this is a crisis and a disaster in the making right before our very eyes. And, I think this is a thing where, Putin is going to go all in here. You're talking about already off an abnormally warm winter. You set up for a situation where this coming winter, you have a real energy problem in Europe where industries are shutting down, GDP is contracting, the economy is vulnerable, the consumers are vulnerable to more inflation, prices for electricity going sky high. All of this, basically an economic war. And Putin playing a major, role here in potentially really pushing the European economy to the brink, and maybe over the line in terms of contraction, and something that could be really kind of severe, if not somewhat short-lived maybe. Already looking to Africa now. I mean, it's just, the kind of the hypocrisy and just some of the irony in all of this is not lost on me. It won't be lost on you. It's pretty interesting. That is today's WeldonLIVE. It is blood and iron.